All right, everyone, here we go with an energy weather update. This is as Pollyanna as Steve's Love Tarot gets. I'm going to tell you, just look at this card before I show you the rest of them. All right? Yeah, and go read your horoscopes, your general horoscopes, if you will. People that talk about the astrology of right now will tell you how optimistic the energy is, how buoyant it is. It's because of Jupiter and the moon and the nodes and, it's all there. The nodes of the moon and Jupiter. We can make a whole song out of it. That's how it's good mood energy. It's nice. It's also drenched in communication. There's a lot of communication happening within this energy. And within it, within this beautiful picture, is some deception. It's crossed by the Seven of Swords in the pre-shuffle, and I believe that. There's a danger in this energy because there's so much communication and whatever, we want to straighten things out, of saying things we can't take back. Everything feels right. There's the Empress here. Everything, we'll take that out of the equation. Everything is perfect. The Temperance, the Empress, Minor Arcana Empress, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups. I mean, it's fucking beautiful, yet something feels off underneath the surface. Something makes you want to, I don't know. Keep that fear. Keep that. I know I'm going to catch shit for it. There you go again, Steve. I'm telling you, you got to balance all this positivity with just a pinch of negative so that you can sit down the middle. Otherwise, you will fly off the rails. You will think you can get away with saying anything. You will think you can get away with doing anything. Your friend will come to you with a crazy business idea. You'll dump all your money in it. Be careful. It's a short-range energy. It plays off of a little bit of Pluto retrograde. But that's more of a long-range thing about straightening things out with relationships to ourselves and others and all of that. This energy is very, very, very short-range. It lasts about the week. All right? I mean, the astrologers might tell you it dissipates out probably by Wednesday or Thursday. But they don't really take the energy into account. That's not how energy works. It does dissipate out, but it's still going to be there for a few days. Sort of like a fade-out on a song when you're mixing it. There's a point where you don't hear the song anymore, yet it's still playing. Right? That's because the song is still there. All right? That's so it doesn't have a steep drop off. It's still, you can't hear it, but it's still there for a couple of seconds playing out. So this will dissipate out probably I would say it would last through the weekend, this type of energy. It might be an energy where, keep in mind, everybody wants to straighten things out. I'll shuffle the deck here. Everybody wants to straighten things out in this energy. You can have a heart-to-heart with any relationships you have with yourself or other people. And it's a good energy to have the talk in because you can have a meeting of the minds. But there's also this, if you get on a roll in this energy, you know how you get on a roll, you're just talking and talking and talking, and you're like, yeah, I know exactly what I want to say. You'll say some shit. Everybody, the problem with this energy, most of the time people don't listen. Okay? Most of the time, people don't listen. They listen to a little bit of what you say. It's like when my wife wants to tell me about one of her TV shows she's watching. She's all fucking excited. She's telling me, oh my God, and then the character did this and he did this. She loves this kind of shit, right? I'm listening. I'm smiling, but I hear maybe, a little word here, a little. I mean, I can't. I don't know what halfway through it, I've lost track of what the hell she's talking about. I don't even fucking know, right? Most of the time, people don't listen fully. In this energy, they are. They're hearing every goddamn word you say. You're hearing every goddamn word they say. Only you got the benefit of me. I told you the other day in an unplanned reading with the Queen of Swords to keep that sword in the sheath. It applies here too. All right? That energy applies here. Roll your eyes once in a while at the things you hear. But that's all you need to do. People are feeling very confident. They're very chatty. Will you hear from a runner in this energy? Maybe. But it's more of a short-range energy. I'm just going to be honest with you, all right? It's more of a short-range energy where you'll hear from somebody will want to straighten something out with you. You might get somebody who you talk to sometimes, a friend. It's tertiary energies who come up to you and say, can we talk, right? Which always puts a lump in your throat, right? Can we talk? Whether it's someone you love dearly or someone you barely know, anytime somebody says that, you know they're going to say something that irritates you. Okay, either they're breaking up with you, or they got something wrong that they think you did, but you didn't mean it that way, and it's like that. Honestly, that kind of shit will happen in this energy. Keep it in mind, all right? It's just what it is. All right, here we go. It's a general reading. It may or may not resonate with you, but if the title brought you in here, you're here for a reason. This reading is timeless. Whenever you find it, you're meant to find it. You're all moving at different speeds on your timeline. But this is what I would call a pretty solid energy. Jupiter is having some kind of grand finale as it's wrapping up its run through Gemini. Airy Gemini, if you will, before it moves into watery Cancer. the theme energy of this particular soulmate cycle, which I'm very excited to study. All right, here we go. Let's see where we're at here. All right, come on now. Oh, fuck me. Most people have never figured that out. I think I'm the only person who ever out here on YouTube who mentioned the soulmate cycle when I first got into it. Most people didn't even know it was a cycle. I heard from readers, big readers, when I first got out here, were like, I didn't know there was a cycle. But now that you mention it, it kind of makes sense. It explains a lot. And I explained to them, and I'll explain it to you. Everything is a cycle. Everything is energy. Everything is connected. Energy is measured in cycles. Energy cycles around. We measure it in hertz, right? 60 hertz is 60 cycles per second. It cycles around. Spring comes around the same time every year. Everything. World keeps on turning, turning, turning into the future, right? Bottom of the deck, Page of Cups. You got well, there's a freight train of destiny playing out in the world right now. You got a freight train of destiny here. You got a freight train of emotion. Either coming at you from somebody else or within you. You see the tidal wave behind the little girl, right? I think it's both. I think you'll have, I don't think it'll be the run, it might be for some of you, but I think people you have soul connections with want to straighten things out with you. Everybody wants to get on the same page in this energy. The good part is it's a very positive energy. But if you get on a roll in this energy, you will say shit that can't be taken back. You'll think you can get away with anything, right? You'll think you can get away with saying anything or doing anything, meaning you're having a productive conversation with somebody, right? You're getting a meeting of the minds, you're getting it all out on the table, and then for some reason in your head you feel like you can just say, hey, can we do something about your stink? You've got a stink to you. Can we do something about, you can't, people don't like to hear about the stink, okay? You can't, that's a mistake. You felt like you can get away with anything, you try to throw that in, you won't, and then you'll get hit with the tidal wave of emotion from the other person. You follow? I'm trying to give you real easy examples, okay? All right. This card right here, the wave of emotion, is crossing whatever the center card is I pull. Let's do this. Ten of Pentacles. Yes, we want this. In this energy, we want to be happy. We want the quiet, happy, peaceful life with the golden retriever. We want somebody to hug. We want somebody to love. I don't know if we want old people staying with us or not. I don't think, you know, I mean, I cannot just spring for the rest home, you know. We did that for my wife's dad. She's like, well, he can come stay with us, or we could, why don't we put him in the fancy place with the where they got the drinks that they bring you and stuff. I mean, what the hell we want to live here for, you know? Boy, I dodged a bullet on that one, let me tell you. All right, here we go. 10 Pentacles. What's the center card? I dodged a bullet on that one. Death card. What's red with the 10 Pentacles? The Knight of Cups. Yes. This is, we could have it. You want it? You can have it in this energy. You feel like you can have it. You do. It's a beautiful energy. In fact, some of you are going to get asked out in this energy. Somebody might ask you out. You might ask somebody out. It's very feel-good energy. We're talking Jupiter and the moon, and Jupiter with the nodes of the moon, and oh my God, we could make a song, Jupiter and the moon, and the nodes and the moon, and the Jupiter. I mean, it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. It's just, there's this element of deception. That Seven of Swords makes you think you can get away with anything, do anything, say anything. You can't. Please remember that you can't. Somebody else attached to you is not going to remember that they can't. They're going to run their mouth. They're going to think they're the king of the world. All right? All right. It's going to make narcissists worse in this energy, by the way. Narcissists believe they can do anything, be anything. They don't do any wrong. I hope your runner doesn't come towards you with this energy. I hope it's just what I'm talking about here, and you just hold back on saying a few things. Keep in mind, somebody's not going to hold back. If you stink, somebody's going to feel like they can tell you. I feel like, well, I got away with all this stuff. Yes, I can do it. I'm going to tell them to tell them. And they're going to say it. Remember what I said in the unplanned reading the other day with the Queen of Swords. It applies here. Everything is energy. Everything is connected. Keep the sword in the fucking sheath. Just roll your eyes. Okay? You know you don't stink. I know you don't stink. All right? To them, you might stink a little. I don't know. You know, try to be the peacemaker. One side has to be. It's the side that's listening to me, not the side that's not. Okay? You follow? All right. I'm going to shuffle the death card because I'm telling you, that's a powerful energy to have there. I mean, yeah, we talked about that. We know what that is. Let's just talk about the death card. Let's shuffle on it with the light seer. It is a very positive, good mood, and it is. You know, it just is. But little ailments might clear up. I mean, you can get all kinds. You finally get rid of that zit that's been bothering you. You know what I mean? Or you don't care about it. You come to terms. You have a come to Jesus with that damn zit. You know, I don't know. Especially if you're that age, I'll tell you. All right, here we go. The death card. Why is it here? Tell me more about this death card and this little girl here in the water. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, shit. See what I'm saying? Look, I say that. I say things. And then the cards, and the fickle old gal universe, that's why I call it a fickle old gal. It's the Seven of Swords crossing this. I said, tell me more about that little girl in the water. That little girl is not a little girl. It's one of those grown-ups that looks like a child, right? You know, I seriously, no, my wife, she's into watching all kinds of foreign TV shows and stuff. She watches like Korean TV and all kinds of things like that. Some of those people, some of those girls on those shows, they're like 30, 35 years old. They look fucking 12, 14. I mean, what the hell? You got some kind of youth code over there or some shit? I mean, what the hell? I want those genes. I mean, at the end of the day here, change is happening in a very subtle way. You might read things wrong, read people. If you normally could read people very well, you might read them wrong in this energy. Please keep that in mind. Other people might be reading you wrong, which is why I think a lot of people might approach you. You might feel like they're gonna, again, everybody feels like they can get away with things. All right, what's on top here? See what I'm saying? The devil. Why is the devil here? Why is this guy here? The Knight of Pentacles. What's the bridging energy? Yeah, see, there's my coffee house guy. The reason I make coffee at home. Five of Swords. I'm just going to say it. I think this came up in an extended, may have been the extended for the unplanned reading. I don't know, but I'm going to say it right now. Your usual spidey sense in reading people is a little off. Okay? Why? And I'm going to tell you why. All right? It's not that you've lost your mojo, okay, or anything like that. It's something for everybody to keep in mind. Even me. I keep it in mind when energy is like this. Why? Because it's a very buoyant energy. It's a very positive, optimistic energy. And I always teach people to be neutral. If you're too optimistic, you turn into Ned Flanders from the fucking Simpsons. Oakley dokley. Everything's great. Everything's always great with that guy. You could chop his head off. He'd go, Oakley dokley. Everything's terrific, right? We miss things if we're too oakley dokley. All right? You're a little bit oakley dokley in this energy. Keep it in mind that'll bite you in the ass. All right? So what you want to do, I'll give you a tip. It's an energy tip. Other people won't be doing it because they're not listening. They aren't here. I'll give you a tip. I know you're not normally a pessimistic person, but when energy is this optimistic, you need to inject, actually literally physically inject a little bit of pessimism into it. All right? A little bit. I want you to, you're going to see the good side of things. You're going to be optimistic. You're going to be whatever. You have to inject just a pinch. It doesn't take much. Just a drop of pessimism. All right? If somebody looks, well, this person looks terrific. They look great. They're absolutely perfect. They're everything I want. It's my future husband, my future wife. You know, stop for a minute and just inject a little bit of pessimism in it. Yeah, but I don't know if I can get past those sideburns. Right, just something like that. Anything to help bring it down from Ned Flanders a little bit and get it closer to the neutral. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Also, someone from your past either thinks you got something wrong or lied to you. This energy may tie to the unplanned reading from the other day. Some of that might be playing out in this energy, you know, where somebody is coming to confess. I believe it. It's just sort of here, right? There's the Three of Wands again. It's a couple of energies from that reading. I'm going to clarify the Knight of Cups. I already talked about that. All right? You need to go to a rest home. It's much better. They serve drinks and they got nurses and shit. It's great. Hell, put me in one. You going to give me a sponge bath? Cool. I'm down for that. All right. Here we go. Knight of Cups. Let's see where we're at. Knight of Cups. What's going on? Why is it here? Why is it here specifically? So just remember what I said. Have fun. Be optimistic. Just keep your wits about you. Okay? Keep your wits about you. Again, you're reading people wrong. You think this is a child. It's an adult. You know, if you have to tell me you're an adult, we probably shouldn't sleep together. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Even if you're a cute Korean or Japanese girl, whatever, I don't care. If you have to tell me you're an adult and show me ID, I'm out. Okay, that's all. That's all I'm going to say. All right, here we go. Knight of Cups. All right, here we go. It's crossed by the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, everybody. This optimism, this is why you need to inject some pessimism in this energy. And this won't show up in your horoscopes. The optimistic energy probably will. It's involving Jupiter and the moon and the nodes of the moon. And we got the little song we did there. It's wonderful. It'll probably last through the weekend. Oh, look at that. Underneath that, the Page of Swords. There's a lot of spying energy here, what I was going to say. This optimism energy that's coming, it's a very... People are getting brave. People that normally wouldn't approach you might approach you in this energy. Okay? With the Queen of Pentacles here. And people who normally are on the periphery spying, people you don't talk to very often. Again, this little barn owl might come to you and go, we need to talk. They want to straighten something out with you. Just keep in mind, how do you keep the Queen of Swords? You, from the unplanned reading, how do you keep the sword in the sheath? You just have some empathy. You use that Empress energy that came up in the pre-shuffle, right? You have a little empathy for the other person, and if it's a big deal to them, it's a big deal to you, okay? Even if it's not a big deal to you. It's a big deal to you because it's a big deal to somebody else. Right? It's like when your child comes up to you with something they want to tell you about that happened at school. You don't give a fuck what little Timmy did. Timmy did something with the finger paint, and he set it on fire. You don't fucking care, right? It's nothing in your world. You care about bills and mortgages and shit like that, but to them it's a big deal, so you listen. You know, it's a little of that. These are tertiary people. This is a short-range energy for sure. You might get a runner that comes back. It's possible, but I don't know. 5 of Cups. Why is that here? Yeah, the Hierophant. Again. Sometimes you got to disappoint people. You might have to. I know it's. Look, I know. This ain't going to show up in any horoscope, so I'm going to give it to you. Sometimes you have to disappoint people. Sometimes you just do. You have to keep that in mind. All right? If you're people, even though it's an optimistic energy and you feel good, if you inject that little bit of pessimism in, you'll at least be able to see what can work and what can't. All right? What's the bridging energy here, just for fun? 5 of Swords. Yeah. Sometimes it's bittersweet. Sometimes somebody wants to talk to you and wants to straighten something out, and you end up disappointed in them. Whatever. There's a lot of things that are happening right now, and I will say this around the Death card in particular, because the energy is sort of just blasting me in the face. There's a lot of little things right now that are adding up to big things. All right? The sum of their parts. There's a lot of little changes that are happening that you might find insignificant in the moment, that when added with all the other changes that are happening, you may look back on this time between now and the end of May, we'll say, as a time when that you didn't notice a lot of what happened, but a lot happened. Okay? Because there's a lot of little things popping off. So keep that in mind. That's all. You know? And again, take my advice about the optimism. Have fun with it, but do yourself a favor and inject just a little bit of pessimism into it to maintain some sense of reality.